Hey everyone, hope you're well. Welcome back to the Shape Through Fate podcast. It's been a while since I uploaded an episode. It started off every Monday, and then it became every other Monday, and now it's just, you'll get one when you get one. I've got a good one for you today, though. It's not me rambling. I am having a chat with Hans Joseph. He plays bass, does a little bit of singing as well in the band Dragged Under. Fresh off of tour with The Used, or as fresh off of tour as you can be in the current climate. I believe either next week or the week after, they are heading out on tour with Beartooth and Wage War in the States. They're coming over to the UK next year for some shows as well. I've got my tickets. You should definitely get your tickets. So enjoy this episode. Hans is a lovely guy. I had a wonderful time chatting to him. So enjoy the episode. Speak to you soon. Shape Through Fate podcast. Shape Through Fate podcast. My guest today is Hans Joseph from the band Dragged Under. How are we doing today, Hans? You all right?
Doing well, man. Having a good one. Thanks. Glad to be here.
Good stuff. So for anyone that's listening, there's a 9-hour time difference between us. So
I think so, yeah.
Luckily, Hans decided to do it at 1 o'clock his time, which did make it 3 a.m. where I am, which is, I appreciate that. I do appreciate that. I was getting ready to
Is it 3 a.m. there?
No, we're at 9 p.m. here. But I thought, because usually I thought, if we do like 8 p.m. your time, it would have been 3 or 4 a.m. for me, which I was fine. I was gonna overdose on Red Bull and just truck through, but no, I appreciate it not being 3 a.m. So that's nice. So we'll talk about Dragged Under in a bit, but I'm guessing there was some music that came before Dragged Under. So while this is a clothing brand podcast, we talk a lot of music. So what got you into playing music? Because from following you since you joined Dragged Under, you're a multi-instrumentalist and you're a music tutor, I think I saw.
Yeah, teach music privately. Been doing that for about 6 years. I first got into music, honestly, when I was in grade school, in 4th grade. The high school symphony brought in one piece. They brought in every first chair, so they brought in a string, a bass, a cello, a viola, and a violin, and they came into my 4th grade class, and I was just like enamored with what are these things? This is so cool. They're all like, and they're playing this giant. It was a bow, horsehair bow on strings, and it's just like, this is really bizarre. It sounds really cool, and I took up the classical bass then and started playing that, and I took to that really well. My parents kind of nurtured that and invested in me, and they gave me, they paid for bass lessons with blues lessons and jazz lessons and theory and stuff like that. That's kind of how it started and blossomed. And with that kind of theory training, I was able to kind of play whatever I wanted, fortunately. So it was fun to just like jam with people in areas outside of classical music. So we could, I could pick up I picked up my first electric bass or something. I was like 12. I was like, it went from here to here kind of thing, So it took vertical and made it horizontal, and I was like, cool, it's essentially the same thing. And that's kind of how I branched into kind of modern music. But I still love classical music a lot. I owe a lot of my love of music to classical music and the classical stand-up bass. So that's kind of how it started. Started in 4th grade. And that's kind of where my roots were. Yeah.
So was there any... So for anyone that hasn't heard Dragged Under, how would you describe it? I mean, we'll jump onto Dragged Under, but it's a hard-hitting rock band?
Yeah, I would say it's definitely a kind of orgy between punk rock, hard rock, a little bit of sprinkled with some metal aspects in there a little bit when it gets pretty heavy. But yeah, I would say it's across that spectrum between punk rock, heavy rock, definitely the baby of those three kind of genres.
So was there any bands that led you into that? So have you always played in that? So once leaving the classical and getting into more other bandy stuff, was it always around that genre, or was it a little bit of, I don't know, country folk music?
Well, I played in all sorts of bands growing up kind of thing. Definitely loved punk rock and emo. Will do, forever. When this all turns gray, man, I'll still listen to frickin' Sum 41 and The Used. And, it's just, I don't know. That was just our generation. you know.
Yeah. No, I'm the same.
And I feel like everybody in the band shares we all have an affinity for that music, which is what brings us together, kind of thing.
I think it's in the UK, the emo revival is something that I'm trying to spearhead, because it kind of emo as a trend. Not that it never went away, but it kind of lost a bit of mainstream traction in the UK. So it needs to come back, because I mean, there's not many better genres than emo. So for me, it's,
I mean, do people in the UK, do they have an affinity for US emo music, or is that just a 2000s thing?
No, I think so. It went from being like real mainstream in the 2000s, and then it's kind of, I wouldn't say it's gone underground, but it's almost become like a niche, and there's like a real tight group of underground emos that are like still good. It's still good. We're gonna break out one day. We're coming back.
That's like people over here with like the Smiths and stuff. There's like 6 people in the US who like the Smiths. Sorry if you're a Smiths fan, you're listening to this, but that's what it sounds akin to over here. Yeah, I get it. Well, emo's not dead. It's definitely making a resurgence, I think.
Yeah, and like even the bands from, like, I know we'll get onto the Used, because I know you dragged under toured with them, but they're still putting out quality even now.
Oh yeah.
And I think a lot of people, they think, they did In Love and Death and the self-titled, and they peaked. It's like, well, no, nope, they're still going.
No way, dude.
Yeah, they're still getting better and better every album they put out.
And their latest record is just unreal. They had so many writers on that, and it's so diverse, man. If you listen to the thing front to back, there's like, it definitely has schizophrenia in like the best way. There's so many cool like Paradise Lost is kind of sounds like a Blur, if you know what I mean, that number 2 kind of thing. And then you have Feel Something, which is essentially just like a kind of an ethereal vocal song, which is like, those two things like don't really go well together, but they do in the album. It's sensational. It's so cool.
Yeah, I'm so glad they linked up with John Feldman again. I like,
dude.
As much as I like the album,
Feldy is legend.
Yeah, as much as I like the albums that he wasn't involved with, as soon as I saw that they were going back to Feldman, I was like, this album is going to be killer. It's going to be so good.
Yeah.
And yeah. So where are we? Yeah, so bands, and then so I saw, and I know the description says it wasn't a band, but you did the song Breaking Down Walls with some of your buddies. Is there any more of that?
Yeah.
Or was that just a one and done sort of, we're killing a bit of time?
That's kind of just the one. We wrote that song, oh my gosh, maybe in 2015 or 16. It was just sitting on my buddy Adam's hard drive. He's actually in a country band down in Nashville, Adam Mitchell. Phenomenal guitarist and sensational writer. I think his band, Rich Love, is his band.
Okay.
They have a couple really cool bops. You guys should check them out. But I think it was sitting on his hard drive. He had written it for something else, and he asked me to come down in 2016 to his studio in South Seattle and write some lyrics to it, and we did. And we're like, well, this is just too fun to not do anything with it. So we got a hold of a buddy who owns a venue, actually.
Okay.
He was gifted. So he won a Nashville guitar writing contest, not Adam, but another guy in Central Washington. And the grand prize was a venue. Like, they built a venue wherever he wanted. So
that's a great prize.
We filmed it. That's where the video was filmed. Yeah.
Okay.
This guy's like, yeah, it's pretty neat. So it was just a one-off, but it was really fun. He had this big LED like stage with everything. I mean, you can see it if you watch the video, but yeah, it was just a fun, long day.
Yeah, I'll definitely be linking that because I absolutely love that song. It's not on Spotify,
Thanks,
is it? Or is it?
I don't think it is. I think it's just a YouTube jammer.
I'll link it so this goes out on YouTube as the audio, and I'll definitely link that because I think a lot of people need to hear that. For me, it was the classic.
Thanks,
like
man.
The chorus is, I mean, over in England we don't get bands that do like big soaring choruses, and it's always something that in my writing and in my band, it's like the main thing I want is that classic. You know when it's the chorus, you just know.
Yep. There's just three chords, baby. Yep.
Yeah. Keep it simple, keep it catchy, job done. That's all you need in the chorus. If you're humming it after the first time you've heard it, you've got a good chorus. That's what what I was saying.
Yeah, if it's haunting your dreams, and yeah, if you're singing it in the shower or on the toilet, then we did it. We got to you.
Yeah. So just before we jump into Dragged Under, are you're doing solo stuff as well? Am I right in thinking that you dabble a bit of solo acoustic stuff?
I play solo around the valley where I live, in conjunction with teaching for a living. So thankfully, the quarantine is kind of lifted here where I live in Central Washington. So live music has picked up a little bit, which is really nice. And it's nice to get back out to play again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I play a lot of wineries, breweries, weddings, that kind of thing. It's really fun to do again.
Is that your own compositions or is that mainly covers?
Depends what people want.
Right.
Kind of have to read the room. Some people can ask for. I think I'm playing a wedding in October for a high school friend of mine who's getting married. She wants me to revamp some Katy Perry songs acoustic, which actually sounds silly, but it's really cool. Like you can slow down the BPM and make them sound like a cool love song. I know it might sound stupid, but you could turn Nelly into, Ride With Me into a fun sounding like pretty love song if you just finagle it a little bit. So yeah, I play solo a lot around here, which is it's fun. There's been a bit of a heat wave. I actually had to cancel a show Wednesday because it was 102. It's brutal.
Okay.
And your body doesn't do too well with heat.
I think that's only temperatures we can dream of in England. I mean, it's been like, I don't know what it is in Fahrenheit, but I think we hit like 19 degrees today, which is nowhere near that. And it's probably going to rain, tomorrow because it's England. But
I'm into that. Which part of England, where do you live?
I'm right on the south, so it's I'm near a place called Bournemouth. So I'm right down on the south coast, which you'd imagine is the hottest, but it's probably also the wettest. So.
Oh, sure.
So I think when you come over here, you're getting as low down as London, maybe. So.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, you'll get a feel of our climate because we're about 2 hours from London. So. Yeah,
cool.
it'd be
right
good.
On. Yeah, as long as it's not toasty, I'm in, man.
When you come, I mean, I'll probably cut this bit out because I'm just going to talk about you coming to England now. But I bought tickets for that show yesterday, so I will be there.
You did, my guy.
Yeah, I'll see you
Thanks,
there.
Dude.
So.
Right on, dude.
Yeah,
we'll have to have you out. That's awesome.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. I was a bit gutted it got cancelled this year, and I had some friends booked to go to 2000 Trees. I was like, go check out Dragged Under. Like, you got to go check them out. So, yeah.
Dude, thank you.
So,
we'll be stoked to see you, man. Thanks for coming out. Heck yeah.
So, right, where are we then? So, how did Dragged Under come about? Because it's not as if they're... I mean, well, let me ask you this first. So, what's the music, like the unsigned scene, like in America? Because in England, it's so hit and miss. Like, you'll drive 5 hours and play to 3 people. Like, some of the receptions are so awful in England. Is it a similar thing in the States, or is it like the underground music scene's quite...
I guess that kind of depends. It's a good question. I guess it kind of depends on how much groundwork you lay. If you don't have any contacts in the industry, you could definitely be playing to an empty house kind of thing. But luckily, the Under is the birth child of Rest Repose, which was a Jared Dines band. And when that kind of dissolved, Fluff and Tony decided to stay and create a new project, and that's how Dragged Under came about. So they rebranded and wrote new music, totally different sound, and it kind of became what it is today, which is such a cool blessing to come with something that dissolved. We're one door, this is 10 more open kind of thing.
So yeah, go on.
Oh, go ahead, man.
I was just going to say, so were you like friends with Tony and Fluff beforehand, or was it? Did they?
Well, subsequently, maybe back in 2016, like right around the time when I did that Breaking Down Walls video, I toured with a pop band called He Is We, and I think Tony and I were talking about, I think the singer Rest Repose crapped out when they were on tour, and Tony reached out to me just because we had been talking, I think a couple months or something before regarding who knows what, and he asked if I was available, and And that's actually how Tony became the singer of Dragged Under. He just filled in for Rest for Pose that night when they were on tour, and he freaking crushed it. And everybody was like, "Holy shit!
Yeah, I remember watching
You can sing, bud."
Yeah, I remember watching some
So
videos of it online because obviously the
yeah,
tour was in the States.
It was incredible.
And I remember I watched it. I was like, pretty sure that's not the guy that's their singer. And then I was like,
that guy's
I was like, he's
shorter and more handsome.
Yeah, and yeah, he absolutely smashed it. It's like, why has he been
He
hidden?
did.
Like, why has he been hidden behind a guitar all this time? Somebody put a microphone in front of him. Like, he needs to be heard.
Yeah, put to really good use. Yeah, he crushed it, and he's got a great stage presence, very very unique voice, which I feel we're all really lucky to have because good singers are a dime a dozen, but it's like with a really unique timbre, like Tony has. It stands out. So we're fortunate dudes. So that's kind of how that came about. Talking with those guys, he reached out, 2016 to see if I could fill in for them, and he stepped up and crushed it. And then when Dragged Under had formed, one of their bass players took a permanent job with UPS or something, and he decided to go that route. And so Tony reached back out to me on a Monday and said, "Hey, we have a show at the Hard Rock in Seattle on this Friday. I'd like to play bass and sing some backup vocals." And I said, "Abso-freaking-lutely."
Yeah, nice.
Over the tracks and all the vocal delegation, and we ended up in a fun show on Friday, and that's kind of how we ended up here. We all just kind of clicked, and it was a fun show. So
nice. So how many shows was there between you joining and the tour with the Used? So 2020, it was 2020. I'm losing track of time because kind of the back end of 2020 and the early 2021 didn't really exist in the UK. But so January
it was early 2019 is when we went on tour. January. Gosh, that's weird to say. I think time's really weird right now. We had a winter tour after we played the Hard Rock. We did a winter tour, just a headliner, which was super brutal, but everybody cut their teeth, and it was really good for us.
Okay, yeah.
To kind of hone ourselves and our sound and live performance and presence and like just gelling on stage, dude. It's like practicing with a soccer team. Like, you guys are gonna suck if you don't get together and run through the shit.
Yeah.
So we did that, and it was brutal, but it was like really beautiful in its own right. Like changing blown out tires and putting on chains at 4 a.m. in the middle of nowhere, like Missouri, during a fucking like sleeting storm, which is only gonna like make you a stronger person. It sucks, but like we laugh about it. You're like, cool, this is horrible. Like, and you laugh about it, and you're like, they become your buds through like really brutal times. Yeah. So it was a perfect thing to do before going on a big run with a major band.
I think you'll like it in the UK because from seeing the places you're playing, you'll probably have a maximum of maybe a 2.5 hour drive, and that's it.
Oof.
Like,
man, that sounds tasty.
Like,
I'm into that.
We can drive from where I am to Scotland in 8 hours, so that's pretty much the whole country.
Whoa,
so you'll be fine. I
don't know
you'll love it.
UK geography.
Yeah, you'll be fine. Like, you don't need to worry about traveling in England. Like, for me, it seems like a lot, but I imagine you can travel 8-9 hours to a show, and I can travel 8-9 hours, and I'm in a different country, so it's all good.
You can travel like 8-9 hours across Texas and still be in Texas, dude. It's so big.
I think the scope of America has never really hit me. But
yeah, have you been over here?
I've been once for my wife's 21st. We went to Vegas, but I think Vegas is kind of a law unto its own. So I don't think I really.
What did you think of Las Vegas?
It was almost like it almost felt like a theme park to me because we didn't really leave the main strip, so everything was so big and surreal. So
well put.
I don't think we really got a taste of. I've always wanted to go down to New Orleans. I don't know why, but I'm a Saints fan.
Okay, cool, man. Right on.
And the food and the music in New Orleans is something to try. I don't know. Yeah, I wouldn't mind getting back out to America.
New Orleans.
Have you been?
Down there, it's such a cool culture.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. It's just like you walk down the different streets and you've got so much different food and the music, jazz music on one street, and then you got soul music on another, and yeah. So I wouldn't mind experiencing that. You don't get
Try the beignets.
Do
Did you
what?
try the beignets at the bottom of Bourbon Street, the famous like donut place?
You know what? I can't remember. It was so long ago. It was so one thing that
You
sticks
haven't
out.
been, dude. You gotta go, bro. You gotta get them.
One thing that sticks out in my mind is literally the moment we got off the plane. Being a Brit, I was like, "It's way too hot here. It's way too hot." And then we
The
found
humidity,
yeah,
absolutely brutal.
yeah. And then we got to one of the hotels, and they did like a slush vodka thing. I was like, "Yeah, I'm set. That's cool. I'm not leaving."
Yeah.
So yeah, it was all right. But yeah, I mean, that's the American hospitality. You're just going to get rain and short drives. So, have you been to England before?
Come on. I've never been ever.
See,
But I do like tea, so
oh, you'll be fine
I
then.
think I'm gonna like.
Yeah,
I like tea, like 60-degree weather, so I think I'm gonna be smitten. Honestly.
yeah. I mean, it's a weird one because I always find that I live right next to the beach, and I never go, and it annoys me because it gets busy and all that. And then you get people that don't live by the beach, and they're like, "Oh, this is great," and you don't actually realise until somebody that's never experienced it says it to you, and then you're like, "Oh, maybe I'm quite lucky living here then." Like, but yeah,
Nice perspective. Yeah, that's cool though. You live by a beach? That's awesome, man.
yeah. I could probably get to the beach in about 5 minutes, 5-10 minutes, and I'll be at the beach, so it's not too bad.
Love that.
Yeah. So
Cool.
back to Dragged Under.
Your house, thank you, dude.
Yeah. So, yeah, where are we going? Dragged Under then. So, the first major band you went out with was Used? Was it?
They took us on their U.S. run. I think it was 2019 because 2020 was a freaking black hole. They did anything then. I think 2019. I don't know, man. Let me look. I'm losing my mind with time.
So one thing that I liked about that, because I was a Dragged Under fan, and then obviously the Used were such a big influence on me growing up that when I saw that announced, immediately I looked for UK dates. I was like, they've got to come over here. Like that tour has to come over here. And it didn't. It was like, I'm sure whoever goes to that show is going to have a good time.
2020, you're right. I don't know what's wrong with me. Yeah, it was. So it was January 2020 when we went out with them. Yeah, we started in California. I threw up, dude. Our first show was in Solana Beach, and I remember like rolling up and like, all right, everybody, P's and Q's, like we're the nobody band on here, like do what you're told, and kind of don't speak to them unless spoken to, kind of thing. And we're like, sounds good. And we were loading in. I saw Bert like chilling on the back step, sucking on his vape, and just being a chill dude on his phone, and everything was cool. And then it came time to sound check, and then it came time to play, and I was like, fuck, what am I doing here? Am I good enough to be here, kind of thing? And I went and puked in the back alley, and then I did a little bit of like Wim Hof, meditated for 5 minutes, and was like, cool.
Yeah, it must be strange to go from like touring, like doing a headline run as Dragged Under, because it's kind of your shows, your rules, to then like it must be a whole different world. And these guys are so used to it. Like the Used are so used to doing it. To them, it's like, here's another show. Where are we? But I guess going from doing smaller runs and like hometown shows or whatever to then suddenly jumping across and being like, oh, this is the big business. It must be so intimidating.
At first for about 3 shows, and then you get to see like, I mean, they're all so diverse. They've been doing it for 2 decades, man. Yeah. But they're all so humble and sweet, which is such a nod to them, musicians and and human beings. They were all really warm and honestly complimentary, which was just very gracious of them to be, because we're essentially a nobody band comparatively to those guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely playing field. And it was definitely different genres. They were obviously more in the emo, slightly pop side, and we're like a heavier band. So we're not, I wouldn't say worried about how their fans were going to receive us, but they did, and we were super grateful and vibed with them, and they were really good to us. It was a big blessing.
Yeah. I mean, I saw some of the videos online, and it was almost that, like, when you see a band that, I mean, obviously you're not a small band, but in the context of the Used, and I saw you playing on stage, I was like, go on, lads, go on. Like, yeah, this is well deserved. They're where they need to be, and I can imagine some bands would go and be like, oh, they look at a place, whereas you guys, I saw the videos, I was like, nah, that's where you need to be. Like, you're doing it. So
thanks.
yeah. So I can imagine that was surreal. Is there a link between you and Joey from the Used? Because I keep seeing, so I follow him on Instagram, and I see a lot of posts about you guys. Is there a link there, or is it more just a friendship thing?
No.
Sorry, mate, I missed that. What was that?
Joey and I, is that what you're asking?
Yeah. Is there a link, or is it just a friendship thing that's built up?
We both, well, I think definitely became friends over the course of Dragged Under's tenure. We do know a few mutual people through the Seosin guy, and these dudes called the Hedeker Brothers. They have a band called Orange Blossom Special. Anton and Ellen Blossom I met when I lived down in California. I think Joey was friends with them back in the day too.
Right.
We both put in there. They just shot a music video I think a month ago. We kind of, Joey and I, like video promo. Maybe that's what you saw. But yeah, I mean, when you kind of dip your toe into the musical world, find out how finite it is relatively. Like, oh shit, like, you know that guy, him like 9 years ago, and whatever. You know, it's
yeah. So, was there any memories or moments that stick out in your mind from that tour with the Used? Was there a standout show or a crowd? What was the highlight for you?
San Diego was Sacramento was really fun. Or is it San Diego? Get those two mixed up. But there's a venue called the Ace of Spades, and it was really huge and really fun, and the crowd was just out of their minds. That was a really fun show. New York was fun because the stage was like 10 feet tall. Love that.
Nice.
It was a blast. Angel Vivaldi came out to that one, and we became homies subsequently through that. Super sweet guy. A fun show where they didn't really like us. Where was it? It was somewhere on the East Coast. It was a fun show. We just weren't as receptive, kind of thing. Right. Which you expect, because like if you're coming to see like a legendary band like the Used, and then this no-name band opens for him, you're like, who the hell is this? But
yeah.
Let's see, memorable moments.
Like, was there a moment where you were stood on stage and you just thought, this is amazing? Like, because I can imagine, like you said,
every night.
Really? Because I can imagine, like, the first few nights, you're almost like just staring at your fretboard, like, don't mess up. And then when that's gone, and those, you're like, oh, I've done it a few times now. I know, I'm gonna, maybe the fourth or fifth show in, you're like, I'm really gonna take this one in. And you look up and you're like, wow, this room's packed.
The nerves are, yeah. The nerves are probably every show for the first maybe song, or maybe the first half of the song, and then you kind of get out in your own head and get on your own way, and then you're just present, and you're looking at, like, I look across and see Fluff doing his chin thing and having a great time. I'm like, fuck it, cool, we're where we need to be and we're locked in, kind of thing.
Yeah. That's cool.
So yeah, I think that's a very good thing though. They let you know, like, they remind you for a second to be humble and remind you that you're alive, and what you're doing is like kind of scary on some level, which is good. Like first date nerves, like you're super scared and nervous to meet this girl. Like that rocks, you know. You're fucking dead if you're not nervous, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, nerves are, but they definitely go away. Yeah, man. Going on stage was just like, what is life? This is absolutely crazy. And seeing being kind of a no-name band, like compared to the Used, and seeing people in their crowd sing along to our songs was definitely something in and of itself, dude. Such a imagine. Like, holy smokes, what a thing to see. Yeah.
So talking about nerves, then, August, you are going out with Beartooth, which is insane. Is that right?
Yeah.
So I can imagine that's going to be another nervy experience.
I feel like I'm less nervous for that. Not because Beartooth is any less of a band than D's, but I feel like we're more akin to them. We're much more similar to them.
Yeah.
And I feel like their crowds will be less hoping anyway. But again, those guys are legendary. So is Wage War. So there's definitely some nerves because I haven't met those dudes, but probably more stoked, honestly, than nervous.
Okay.
Really, we're all eager to get back out, man. Really eager, and it's
I
coming
can
up
imagine.
soon. So
Yeah, it's not too far away now, is it? What are we, 2 months away? Almost 2 months, yeah. I'm sure.
early June, yeah.
Yeah. So that's tying in roughly with the live EP coming out. So during the lockdown, I suppose. Well, I mean, we called it a lockdown in the UK. I don't know what you called it over there, but you did the live stream, and that's coming out as a live.
We did
EP?
live stream. Yes, tomorrow, the 6th.
Oh, is that out tomorrow?
We released. Yeah, we. Oh wait, I'm a month from tomorrow. Sorry, dude. Wait, no, June. It's going out August 6th. I'm out of my mind, dude. Told you time is weird.
So August 6th.
Yeah, August 6th. Let me fact check myself right now, dude. I think it's August 6th. Let me check.
So how was the live stream? Because I can imagine that was quite a surreal experience, playing the songs that you've played in front of big crowds to a crew of cameramen and a sound guy. Was that difficult to kind of get in the zone for that compared to a live crowd singing songs back at you?
It was fun, just because we hadn't played in a while. So we were elated just to run the set, so to speak.
I mean, the production looked great. The production was great.
Thank you. Yeah, our buddy Garcia really made us look a lot cooler than we are. So that's definitely a win in our book.
Yeah. Is the white suits going to become a thing now on stage, or?
I think that was a one and done. We just wanted to kind of, I don't know. I think we watched a Sum 41 video. I think this is Look Infected album where they kind of dressed in like suits or whatnot. We're like, let's do that and stand out a little bit rather than just like jeans and t-shirts kind of thing.
I suppose if you've got that much production going on behind you, it's nice to dress up for the occasion.
Like the white suits, and everybody had like their corresponding suspenders and whatnot. So
I did see that. So that's is it the full live set that's coming out, or just a couple of tracks? This is going out. I can't remember. A couple of weeks' time, this episode will be going out. So if you're not allowed to say, don't say. But yeah, so are we to expect the full live set, or just a couple of your favourites?
The whole thing.
Oh, nice. Do you have a favourite Dragged Under song to play live?
Yes, The Real You.
Okay. Is that a song that you would say? So, for anyone that hasn't heard Dragged Under, what one song would you say? I'll go and check this out, and you'll get an idea of us.
It's got elements like the chorus is very open and consonant, or like kind of like positive, and the verse is extremely and very like dissonant, kind of angry kind of thing. So it's got that spectrum of like the both aspects of a negative kind of sounding thing. As far as musicality goes, it's very, very aggressive. But again, the verse is very aggressive and the chorus is very consonant and open and wide open chorus kind of thing. So that's what I would say. And I love that song because it starts out with the bass. So that's what's up.
Nice. I like that. So what I suppose we should talk about it because it's the country I live in. So June next year, so it'll be 2022, you are coming over to the shores of England.
Yeah.
So what was it, 4 dates? Yeah, you're playing between the 14th and the 18th, and on the 18th you're playing at Brixton Academy, which, I mean, I don't know what the size of the venues were like that you played with on the Used tour, but Brixton Academy is one of the biggest venues in London, just to let you know.
Do you know how big it is?
I can find out. I've been to a few shows there, and you're gonna love it. Like,
be there.
Pardon? I'm going to the one the night before. You're playing at the Camden Assembly.
Who have you seen there?
I think I saw the Darkness there. Do you know the Darkness? They were. I don't know how big they got in America, but they were.
I love those guys.
I saw them there. So it was when they disappeared for a while and they did a reunion, and their first show back, I'm pretty sure, was at Brixton Academy, and yeah, that was there. Yeah, it's. Let me just search capacity. It is pretty much 5,000. It's like 4,921.
That's
so
definitely bigger than the clubs we were playing with. The U's were a lot smaller, was more into, and that was kind of their intention, to have them smaller so everybody could like see the stage.
Yeah,
and you could see everybody sweat on their face thing. But we're stoked to switch up and play some larger clubs, man, for sure.
Yeah, like that's like a lot of places in London. You'll do small, and gradually get bigger. But to go in and play Brixton on your second show in London it's impressive, man. You're gonna love it. You're gonna love it.
Thanks for the pump up, dude. I'm stoked.
Yeah, so me and a buddy are coming to the one the night before, but yeah, so I mean it's gonna be good. I mean I'm gutted. I got to wait a year. I got to wait a whole year, but such is life, I suppose.
Oh, man. Yeah, it's coming though. It'll be coming around.
Yeah, I mean 2021 disappeared pretty quick, so it's disappearing pretty quick. We're already halfway through.
Right?
Yeah, like.
Yeah.
So what was, I suppose, music completely stopped in the States 2020, 2021, and it's just starting up again, you said?
Just starting up the last month or two. There have been bigger bands announcing tours and whatnot, so we felt, more positive about, our August tour going down. But, yeah, I would say the last month or two have been the tour announcements that are kind of like like, oh, okay, cool. I guess this is really, really happening, everybody. We're really excited, man. Very, very excited.
It'd be good to get out again. So, is there? I mean, I imagine there's plans for a follow up to The World Is in Your Way, but I'm guessing that's all tightly under wraps at the moment.
Yeah, I would say that. Yeah,
that's all right. So long as anyone that likes Dragged Under knows there's new music coming, which I'm pretty sure there's going to be. So that's something to get excited for. Definitely.
It's coming, man.
So we're going to get back to music, but we were discussing before I hit the record button about obviously where Shape Through Fate is a clothing brand. And another thing that I guess we've got in common is you and Tony from Dragged Under recently set up Pretty Good Printing, which is a very similar vein to what Shape Through Fate's doing. So how did that come about?
Tony's brain. Tony is dude knows what he's doing. Thinking rather proposes to me about 3-4 months ago, like, hey, what do you think about a really good idea? So we kind of decided when to kind of launch it. To kind of to allocate. So yeah,
I think it's good that it's coming from musicians as well, because I always find that notoriously, and I don't know if it's the same in the States, unsigned bands don't have the available cash to be like, all right, we're going to drop £500 on merch. Like they simply don't have it. So musicians understand that. So while obviously you're not going to rob yourselves, you know the struggles of the bands that could potentially be customers of yours. So you're going to say, look, like, I think that to me is something that I was like, oh, good. Musicians doing for musicians helping out musicians is ideal.
Because there's definitely that, the hoops you got to come through if you don't know somebody or a company, or like if you're even speaking to a person if you're putting in an order. So yeah, we know what it's like to be like, hey, I need so-and-so number of t-shirts with this on the back, or I need a big old banner, and can you help me with sizes and imaging? And which is fun. I like doing it.
Yeah.
Working with people in bands.
Yeah, and I suppose it shows the kind of rapport that you and Tony have got. The fact that you're not just in a band, and then when you're not in the band, you go your separate ways, and you only meet up to rehearse for a tour or whatever. You're actually in a business or running a business together. So it just shows how tightly knit everything is. So I guess that's a real plus that comes from the band and benefits the band. That there's that kind of camaraderie there.
Totally, where everybody's really tight, which I'm grateful for. I mean, I talk to the dudes every day, either in the band chat, texting or calling about this, that, and the other. Like, hey, I'm getting these new drum skins or new guitar or whatnot, or whether it's business or band related. And we're tight, man, and I'm grateful for that. I don't want to be in a band with dudes I just see or talk to every couple months. That doesn't lend to a career atmosphere if you don't really freaking know them or can relate at all. So
yeah,
we're lucky, man. They're all really good homies.
Well, it's good to hear. It's good to hear. So where were we at? So we've talked about, obviously, the UK thing's a big thing for me. You coming over to the UK is going to be massive because it's nice to get to see bands that, I mean, if they're in America, there's so many American bands that stay in America, and obviously I understand why, but it's nice that you guys are actually getting out here to dip your feet in the UK waters, as it were. So that's good. Was the tour coming off the back of the? Because wasn't it originally around 2000 Trees Festival? So you were doing like a little run up to that.
I got kiboshed.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then obviously now you're doing the run up to the Ghost Inside show at the Brixton Academy. That's right, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, that's been back. I think at least twice, if I'm not mistaken. So that's going to have a lot of people ready to pop on that one. We're stoked for that one, to be with the Ghost Inside.
Yeah, I think, like, I'm hoping, because where I mentioned before, the UK music scene is so hit and miss, but we're now, even now, we're not doing shows. So if you play a show, it's like everyone has to be seated and you've got to stay 2 meters away from each other. So it's going to be, I'm hoping that there's going to be that, we missed it so much that even local shows that would usually get 10 people through the door are selling out. That's what I'm hoping for.
Dang. Let's go. Let's go, UK.
Yeah.
Open up like a do it.
Yeah. I'm hoping so, because it will benefit my band if people show up. So that would be nice.
Are you guys fixing to play it all soon, Matt?
So we've got an EP that we've been sat on we finished it just as we started lockdown, so we were hesitant to release anything because we couldn't get out and play it. So we've got a tour in August, and hopefully we're releasing the first single from that EP July the 1st. I'm hoping. That's the plan anyway.
That's coming up.
Yeah.
What music are you guys? What do you guys sound like?
I would say, or I'd like to think we're the British emo band. Like we're it's really hard to like put us in a genre. So if we want to write like a punk bit, fast bit, we'll do it. If we like soaring choruses, I think are the thing that people would resonate with the most. I'll send you it. And if you fancy giving it a listen, I'll send you our EP and you can have a listen and judge for yourself. I'm really bad at putting my own band in a genre. But yeah, I'll send you it across after this and you can have a listen.
Love to. Please, yeah.
Right, so just to finish off, I've got a couple of questions that I ask as standard, just to kind of get a feel for your music tastes, and I'm going to throw some quick-fire questions at you. And you don't have to think about it, just hit me with the answers. So, the first one, if you were... what's the word I'm looking for? So let's just say you've got all the ears of the world listening to you and what you're saying. So you can give them 5 bands. What 5 bands are you going to say, look, if you want to listen to good music, here's the 5 bands that I would suggest to you? As of right now, because I'm not expecting you to name your 5 favourite bands of all time. Just your 5 bands that you're vibing at the moment.
Lord Huron, Neil Young, Um, good question, dude.
I thought I'd throw it at you. Like I was going to give. I always thought I'd give people warning for this question, but then I think it's probably going to be more fun if we think of it off the cuff. So,
The band Lord Huron, they're kind of like like road music, like explory kind of music, which I just have such an affinity for them, dude. They're so fun. Uh, Lord Huron, I love Neil Young, dude. Not the
yeah.
best voice, but that guy's songwriting capacity is absolutely otherworldly. Um, that's I love the band Bill Murray. I don't know if you listen to that.
I'm really bad at names. I maybe have heard a song or two, but I'm really bad at
Frank.
knowing bands' names. Okay. Yeah.
Let's see what else. Jeez. A lot of Al Green. Are you familiar with Al Green from like the '60s?
The name rings a bell. The name does ring a bell.
Of course, our homies in Australia, they just put out a new record, Baptized. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, I listened to a track off that the other day. It just showed up on my Spotify randomly. I do like a track.
So good, dude. Brandon's B-Sal. Shout out to B-Sal. Brandon Soller from Trade You Rock. Pepsi Soda. Let's see, one more. Holy crap. One more band. What's your band?
My band's called Erica Drive.
Oh.
Do you want to put us forward?
That's my number. Boom. That's my.
Okay, cool. That works for me. Okay, so to get even more stingy with the amount of answers I'm going to give you, so everyone in the world is listening to you. You can tell them one song. So what I'm doing with this is everyone that I have a chat to, I'm putting together a playlist of the one song. So this is one song that you think everybody should hear. And my plan is, I'm putting rules on a playlist here. You can listen to it on shuffle, but you can't skip anything. Because I want to have such an eclectic mix, because obviously music's so subjective that if we get stuck in a little bubble, like I'm not listening to anything but prog metal. So my plan with this playlist is, no, you put it on, you listen to everything, you experience all the songs. What song would you put on that playlist?
I listen to a lot of music that's not heavy. I mean, I listen to a lot of heavy music, but I also listen to a lot of... I love a lot of scores, which might sound... I love Danny Elfman. He's one of my favorite composers of all time. I think it's absolutely crazy what composers can do in their mind, and then allocate that to an orchestra, and then write that to a movie scene. Like, that's stupid. It's really crazy. That's your question? Jeez, dude. One song? You're going to do that, dude?
One song,
It's like picking one of the Star Wars.
I'm sorry.
Dude. Shit, dude.
The pressure's on now. The pressure's on.
Thinking, can you answer too? This might help me.
Well, I put Still Fighting It by Ben Folds on there. That was my one song. I don't know. Do you know Ben Folds, the pianist?
Yeah, he's an incredible songwriter.
Yeah, so I put Still Fighting It by him on there. So that's the one that I chose. Good. Yeah, I went away from the rock genre.
Honestly, Claire de Lune by Klaus Debussy. It's probably one of my pieces of music ever. I probably listened to it 5-10 times driving. It's obviously Debussy was a composer and a pianist. It's in movies, but it's just a beautiful kind of like sonata. It's gorgeous. Yeah, that's my song, Debussy.
Okay,
Claire de Lune.
there we go.
Sure.
Okay, and then last one. So I don't know if I've recently been told this. So when I came up with this idea, I was like, oh, that's so unique. But I'm told there's a podcast that does it. So you're on death row for whatever reason. We won't go into that. But you've got your last meal the night before. So you can have whatever you want. You've got a starter, a main, a dessert, and a drink. You can have one alcoholic drink if you drink alcohol, and one soft drink. So you can have 2 drinks. What are you having?
Or two. I got an appetizer.
Yeah. I missed that, mate.
Cinnabon.
Okay, yeah.
I'll probably one cinnamon roll, giant one, like from the airports. Sounds awesome.
Okay.
I don't drink alcohol, but I do love tea and juice. So I'll probably drink like a giant glass of like. I'll probably go Arnold Palmer, dude. Like lemonade and iced tea.
Okay.
I would definitely a giant serving of my mom's vegetarian lasagna.
Right.
Maybe some pizza, and also a giant bowl of lemon lime sherbet.
Okay. Nice. That's my quickfire ones done. You did all right on them, to be fair. Considering they were thrown at you, you did all right. Like, I had one person that had to go and frantically log on to his Spotify to see who he'd been listening to, because I said, name 5 bands, and he just completely went blank. So, yeah.
Thought about doing that, but I wanted to use my mind. You know, the problem with technology, dude, is like you can like look for answers so easily to where your brain just gets dumber. So I wanted to look at my phone, to be honest with you, but also I just wanted to use my own experience. Like, what do I listen to like throughout the week the most? So,
well, I appreciate you doing that.
I'm glad I did okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know who I am to judge. I just asked a question. You gave me 5 bands, so if you were listening to that, go and check them out and go and follow the playlist. Yeah, Hans, unless you've got anything to add, I think we'll call it a wrap there. I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to me. And yeah, I will see you in June next year when you come over to England.
Thank you again for coming out and getting tickets. That's awesome.
That's right. We'll see you then. So yeah, if you feel inclined to, and I definitely recommend you go and listen to Dragged Under, go and give them a listen. Go check out the album The World Is In Your Way. There's the new live EP coming out August the 6th. And if I have any listeners in America, if you're not listening to Dragged Under or you've not got tickets to their shows, you're missing out. So that's what you need to do. I don't even know if I've got any listeners in America. Maybe. Who knows?
Do you? I'm listening to you now, dude. There you go.
Exactly.
Boom.
There we go. We've got one listener, and he's definitely going to go to every Dragged Under show. So, job done. All right, Hans, I will speak to you soon, mate. I appreciate you talking to me.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Cheers, mate. See you later.
Shit.